I've talked before about my moment of awakening. A fellow dating coach had told me to go look up this word gaslighting. And that comment just sparked this quest to understand everything I could about narcissism and verbal and emotional abuse. At some point in my research, I stopped and I started thinking back over all of the guys I had dated over the years. And it was like a bucket of cold water in the face when I realized that a fair percentage of them could qualify as full-blown narcissists. And even worse, I knew that about them. I knew that they were self-centered and self-important, and I didn't mind. I just accepted them exactly the way they were. So why? What was it in me that made me get along so well with narcissistic guys? That question set me off on a new quest, the quest to find out why I was so comfortable with narcissism that I didn't see the red flags. Because I knew that if I did not heal this part of myself, I would continue to attract narcissists. And I was done with that. Hi, I'm Amy Waterman. I am a love expert here at yourbrilliance.com. And in this video, I want to offer an unconventional view about what makes some of us feel attracted to narcissists. Now, if you're looking for a psychological take on this, you're going to want to skip this video because I'm going to be talking about what I discovered for myself, and it has challenged me as much as it might challenge you. So if you're up for a little bit of controversy, keep watching. So why was I so attracted to narcissists? Well, really, the answer was pretty simple. It was because narcissism was completely normal to me. I didn't see anything wrong with it because it was all around me. Narcissism was part of my family culture. It was part of the local culture in which I grew up, and aspects of it were embedded in my national culture. Narcissism didn't spark any red flags in me because it was actually normal behavior in many of the people I knew, and it was even celebrated. So why would I judge a guy just because he was focused on himself? So when I met a guy and he started talking about being better than everyone else, or how he wanted to put a big moat around his house so we didn't have to interact with people, or how much he's misunderstood, I was accepting. I was supportive because everyone has their issues. And I felt that it was my job to accept people for what they were and not to judge them. Now, today, I see that it should have tipped me off when I discovered that distinctive mix of self-entitlement and victimhood and the need to feel superior to everyone else. But for most of my life, nothing triggered me about that combination. It just felt familiar. And it felt familiar because it was part of the air I breathed growing up. Today, I joke that my family motto was, "We're better than everyone else." My family had inherited this tradition of keeping itself apart and not mixing with a lot of other people and controlling every aspect of its world very tightly. Now, this was a family culture that had been passed down to them and continued through them. So it's not like it was a personal choice. Today, when I look back, I see that so many of the elements of my relationships with narcissists were actually present in my early environment. Like the one that we were always right and everyone else was always wrong. So if there was a disagreement, we were the ones who had all the facts and we had come to the right conclusion, while the other party was the enemy who made us fight them because they wouldn't see the truth. And this idea of presenting a perfect face to the world and then talking about everyone behind their back, well, that is the narcissist's favorite game. And I grew up with that. And again, I don't think anyone saw what they were doing as wrong. It was just the way things were, which is why I differ from a lot of experts in not condemning narcissists. So I believe that narcissism is less of an individual choice than it is an adaptation to the culture and environment that you find yourself in. You just do what works and you do what everyone else is doing or what you think they're doing. And it becomes the way you live your life. It just feels normal. I hear about families where kids grow up hearing about the importance of walking a mile in other people's shoes. And seeing things from other people's points of view and honoring other people's choices, even if they're different. And I cannot even imagine what that would have been like. The world we grow up in shapes us. And that world is not just limited to your family. Your wider culture teaches you about narcissism and empathy and which quality is valued the most. Now, in my local culture, narcissism was like a prized trait. Like the redneck in his pickup truck with his guns, who holds his ground and never apologizes to anyone and goes his own way. Like that was a local hero. So if a guy refused to compromise or to listen to anyone or show any manners, and he made people mad as a result, then he was respected and even applauded. And this local culture was embedded in a larger national culture of rugged individualism, where the heroes were pioneers and cowboys and men who had turned their backs on society and struck off on their own. And when I started to make all of these connections, I realized that there wasn't some fault in me that was leading me into these relationships with narcissists. And nor was it that the narcissists were somehow tricking me by love bombing me and hiding who they really were. Rather, I was choosing these connections because they felt familiar. It was a dynamic I was used to. And in love, we always gravitate towards the familiar, even if it's toxic. So this is my question for you. If you have found yourself dating narcissists, what is it about them that feels familiar? Like you've seen it before? Like where have you encountered those traits in your life? And if you can, think back to your childhood. Now, I want to emphasize that you cannot make this inquiry if you hold the point of view that narcissists are evil or that they choose to be this way because of their badness. Because then you won't want to look too closely at the way you grew up, because you might find out something that you don't want to know. But when we see narcissism as something that evolves in a specific culture where the traits are adaptive and possibly quite successful, then we start seeing those shades of gray. Today, my more nuanced understanding of narcissism has helped me become a better parent, because now I can see the long-term effects of the lessons I teach my daughter. It has helped me set better boundaries, and it's helped me disengage from those emotional triggers from my past. And it's helped me envision the kind of world that I want to live in. It's a world of direct, honest communication. It's a world without fake social masks. And it's a world where my humanity matters a lot more than my usefulness. Now I want to turn this over to you. What are you thinking about? What are you feeling right now? Are there any memories or thoughts coming up for you? If you feel comfortable, share them with us in the comments. And hey, if you want more videos on narcissism, make sure to give me a thumbs up so that I know to make more of these. Take really, really good care of yourself, and I will see you next time.